guys, this is Ace back with another review, and this time we're going to be looking at this guy, which is Master Grade Figuerise Barnaby Brooks Jr. from the Tiger and Bunny anime series. Now, it is a very cool kit, honestly. When I was building this kit, I was thinking, okay, this doesn't seem that much, but you know, the sheer size of this figure and the way it looks in the end is very cool. It's very different from anything else that I have. It's very unique in the way that it looks. It's like half mecha, half humanoid, and you know, it's just fantastic the way it looks together, the color scheme they've put in, the clear parts, the articulation. It's honestly, it's a great kit. I would highly recommend this kit for anyone looking to get a Figuerise kit. I actually like this thing a little bit better than the Son Goku figure that came out a little bit earlier. Just I think the combination of being mecha and humanoid works really well. The build aspect of it itself was okay. It wasn't that bad. It was actually very easy to do. The inner frame or inner skeleton of it is pretty much the entire black part over here, and which is something new as far as I know. I haven't built any of the Common Rider Figuerise kits, so I don't know if they had an inner skeleton. I've just built the Son Goku version, which I have done, and that had absolutely zero inner skeleton. That was literally just the figure itself. This one, as far as I know, is a little bit different. Here you actually have a complete inner frame, which is entirely black, with the exception of the head, and then on top of that you put in all these armor pieces. Here's a look at the inner skeleton. Okay, so for the inner skeleton, basically this thing is pretty cool. I mean, thank God they're finally giving an inner skeleton, because as far as I know, the Figuerise kits that I've made normally don't have a inner skeleton. It's just the parts put together. But this thing is pretty cool. They've kind of made it like a Gundam, so you have basically a full inner frame with a lot of detail and a lot of articulation, and then on top of this will go all your armor pieces. This inner frame itself, if you've seen the build videos that I've put up for this guy, is very simple to make. I would probably say it's very much like a high grade. So for example, all these, so you got two pieces and then you got two polycaps, two pieces and a polycap. You know, there's nothing complicated in this whatsoever. The detail on this guy is pretty cool. So if I just bring him closer to the camera, if you can have a look at that, this thing does have a lot of good detail. So if you are good at painting, then you can go in and get a lot of this detail out. This guy is very detailed. One really nice part is they give you a lot of clear pieces, like for example these clear pink pieces, and they kind of fit in on the inside of the inner frame, so you can see a little bit on that side, you can see it here on the legs, so these kind of highlights do come out really nicely. If you guys are very good and you know how to do LED, then you can actually put LED stuff on the inside and then have, you know, the light shining through all these clear pieces. Very cool. Now, in terms of articulation, the actual inner skeleton is fairly articulated. Look at his arms, for example. They do get a great 180 bend, which is pretty cool. The other part about this guy, which is actually surprising, is it actually goes all 90 degrees backwards, which is very freaky. Okay, I know this guy is supposed to be a human being in terms of the anime character and everything, so, you know, having his arm being able to do that is just a little bit freaky on my side. For the neck as well, he's pretty good, so he can go pretty back and forth, and he does wiggle around a little bit. The torso also is pretty articulated. You have a joint up here and a separate joint down at the waist as well, so this guy does go back and forth over there as well as on the waist side, and then the same thing as well, so you can do a lot of different movements on this side. The legs are a little bit weird, so again, okay, now you do have very good articulation at the hip, so this guy can do the splits, and he can go up pretty high and he can go back pretty high. There's nothing really stopping his leg movements there at all. Now the legs, the knees is actually the weird point. He doesn't have a 180 degree bend. Let's start off that. This is probably the maximum he can go. Now the thing with this one is that the peg that goes into this joint, I don't know how it works, but if you push on this too much, it will just come out. So try not pushing on it too much. I'm assuming that once the armor goes on this, then, you know, there will be a hindrance, so you won't be able to go this far back anyway, and it'll be okay. The ankles themselves are also very nicely articulated, so, you know, they can go all the way around. and they can do a whole bunch of things. And you also have an additional articulated point on the toe. So in terms of articulation, this guy is very cool. You can get this guy into a lot of different poses. I suck at posing, so I'm not going to bother, but this guy's very well articulated. The only thing is balance. Now, this guy is going to be a big guy once he's completely done. And I am sure there's going to be a little bit of balance issues because, as you can, this guy is pretty tall. He's not hefty, but he's got some weight to it. And if you look at it, he's wearing heels and he's got very tiny feet. So balance, I'm assuming, will be a little bit of an issue. At the moment, he's perfectly fine with the inner frame. We still have to see what he's going to look like with all his armor on. Okay, so after the inner skeleton itself, you can see that this thing is a lot more Gundam-like, I would like to say, where you actually have an inner skeleton followed by the armor pieces on top. But they've done it very well. I mean, even though it does have an armor, you can tell it's humanoid. You can tell it's really, really more like a superhero wearing some kind of a Batman type of costume on top. So with all the gimmicks and power schemes and all that kind of stuff. So it is very, very cool. Now again, as far as the build is concerned, it is easy. It's not very difficult at all. It's much, much simpler than a master grade kit, you could say. More in line with a high grade kit, if anything. You do get a fair number of parts. Probably as many as in one of the newer master grades, because the newer master grades are not coming out with a huge number of parts anyway. But it's pretty good. Pretty good in terms of that way. And the build itself is a little bit different, and I love how the build aspect of any kit anyway. So I was happy with this kit. It was very different, and I was happy to see something different come up. The color scheme of this guy is very unique as well. It's very true to the anime character itself. The entire inner body or inner skeleton is completely black, with the exception of a few pieces here and there. I mean, if you look at the chest piece over here, you've got clear pieces, and they're pretty much pink. So it's the same thing as this clear piece, but it's kind of like, coming out through. And, I have seen some pictures of this guy where what people have done are put LED features inside the kit itself. So they kind of kit bash it a little bit. And then when you turn it on, all these inner pieces on the legs, on the chest, and the back, they all light up. I would love to do that. I just have absolutely no idea how. So if anyone does know how to customize your kits by putting a few LEDs in there, please let me know. I would love to start doing that. That's absolutely fantastic. Okay, so that's that. And then the actual armor pieces itself, you've got two main colors. Now forget the white parts, but you've got this, which isn't a pink. It's like a dark reddish pink, if anything, kind of like a maroony pink. And then you've got this, which is like an orangey pink. So these are the two main colors that come out. Now, when I was thinking about painting this guy, I have no idea what kind of a color scheme I'm going to use for this guy. I want to kind of use something similar to this color scheme, but I don't know. I don't have an orangey color. I don't have a pinky-ish color. So if anyone has any ideas on what kind of a color scheme they would like to see me use, let me know. I'd be happy to hear. And then, in addition to the armor pieces, you've got a lot of clear pieces. Now, there are two main color pieces that these guys use. And funnily enough, the only clear white piece is in the eyes. Apart from that, you've got these, which are the clear pink pieces. And you've got purple pieces, clear purple, which is basically over here. You've got it very prominent in the head over there, and even in the leg pieces. I mean, it doesn't really come out that much over there, but there are a lot of purple pieces all over the place. You get all for like the detail parts, you've got purple, and then all the bigger pieces you've got pink. And it's very cool. I mean, it's the first time I've seen so much clear parts in any kit. Even if you look at Gundam, you don't really get that much. Now, the only other color that you do get would be in the Superfoot, and that is over here. So again, even the Superfoot follows the exact same color scheme with the exception of gold. And this is like a lot of the other Gundam pieces. This is a very dirty, old, used gold, and it's not really the shiny metallic gold. So if you do want to change it up, you are going to have to do it yourself. More on that later. Okay, now the kit itself, in terms of articulation, fantastic. It's not going to be as posable as a Gundam, but in terms of a kit itself, absolutely fantastic. More than enough to you need to do any kind of action pose. My only problem is the head. Now, because you have this entire collar thing that goes around the head itself, it blocks it. So you have to be a little bit careful when turning it. Otherwise, it does go 360. I've had cases where, for example, I've been trying to be a little bit careful in turning its head, and the neck has popped out from over here, so you have to be just a little bit careful while doing that. One word in general when building this guy: be a little bit careful on the thin pieces. So for example, all the small parts over here for the orange pieces there, I myself have snapped this part off from the chest. This is just one long piece over here, which is fine. I mean, we can glue it back together, which is not an issue, but you know, just be careful. We don't want to be breaking too many pieces. The arms themselves, absolutely fine, go completely 360. The shoulder guards over here do go quite high, which enables the arm itself to go this high. Now, this is one other point as well. I thought that, like the Gundam pieces, if the shoulder piece goes that high, this would be able to go that higher too, but it doesn't. So be careful you don't pull your arms and joints off, just like that. So you just have to be a little bit careful that, you know, things are supposed to be exactly where they are and they just don't go all over the place. The joints themselves are okay. They're not bad. So just make sure you don't pop things off completely. The elbow joints, again, are very nice. So it's almost a 180. And the main reason they don't go is because of the armor pieces. They kind of get in the way. The actual torso part itself is also very, very good. You do have a joint at the bottom here. You've got a joint over here. So he does move quite a few places. You've got these movements over here and then on the waist itself. So double joints. You actually get this guy to move quite a little bit. And it's very humanoid. He doesn't do more than what a normal human would expect to do, which is pretty good. I like that. The waist aspect over here with the legs is very nice. You can get very, very nice movements. I mean, if you look at that, that's a very high kick, so I'm very happy about that. And this is also very nice. It's the way they've done the waist aspect of it is that these joints can come down like that. You see that? And then they can go back up as well. So it depends. This will help you, give you more articulation, give you more movement to get the different kinds of poses that you need. The legs themselves go back and forth, not too much. You have to be very careful there. One part over here as well is that if your leg is up there and if you try to go up, this armor piece is going to get stuck on the waist. So try not to do that because you're going to damage it over here or it just pops off. On the side again, like I said, it goes high, and the knee itself bends about that much, which is pretty good. Not bad at all. Just be careful these don't come off, because this was one point that I mentioned in the inner frame as well, is that the joints themselves do seem to be a little bit on the loose side. Let me get this. Okay. The ankles themselves are pretty nicely done. It's one ball joint, it's not two, but it does move up and down. It can do a little bit side to side, but because of the armor pieces over here, they're not going to do that much. And the front part of the dough does have a little bit of movement as well. Not too much, but a little bit. Enough to give you quite a few action poses. The backpack, these thruster pieces over here, in the middle doesn't do anything, but the wings kind of things on the side do rotate. They're basically on a ball joint, so they can go left and right. And that's pretty much it for articulation. It's pretty good. I mean, it's enough to give you as much movement, as much posability as you'd need to do any kind of poses. The only other thing are these wrists, which are your normal plug and play, and you get all the wiggle joints, wiggle movements that you would want. And that's pretty much it for articulation. Now, in terms of accessories, you don't get too many, and you get one which is a little bit confusing. So if you move this to the side, in terms of hand, you get the ones that I've already got over here. So you've got these, which are the closed fists. So, you know, for punching and all that kind of stuff. You also get two of these. So you've got your complete open hands. And I like how they've done it. You've given you two different colors. You know, it's pretty cool. I like the way they've done that. It's almost like the gloves, for example, this guy's wearing. And you are going to get stickers and decals to be coloring in this and, you know, do a little bit of lining, and this thing's going to look pretty good. So you get the two open hands, the two closed hands, which are already on the kit. You also get two of these, which are you could say the salute or the gun hands. Very cool. I like that. And you get this one, which I was very confused with. Now, technically, if this was a Gundam hand, this would be basically to hold the weapon. So you put the gun in there, or the beam saber in there, the sword in there, something. And this is exactly what it looks like over here. But now, guys, correct me if I'm missing something, but I did not find any weapon with this guy. So what is the point of giving him this hand? I don't know. Honestly, if anyone has any idea why we get this hand and why there's a hole in there, let me know. Maybe I'm missing a weapon somewhere or the other. The other accessories you do get is basically with the head. Now, I haven't changed it. This is something I will do for the customized video. But basically, this is the face with the mask on. What you will also get are these two pieces. So you can put this on here. You've got little hair. Is it like that or like that? Well, some way. You get it. You get the face with the hair. And what you can do is you just basically lift up the head. Oop. Lift up the head and you get the top helmet part, and you put these pieces in the middle over there instead of this faceplate over here, and you can give him the face. So it'll basically look like he is with a face rather than his mask. I just haven't done that yet because I want to do it properly with the painting, and I want to put all the decals and the eyes and everything on. So you'll see that in the actual customized video. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the accessories. Like I said, you don't get that many. The only other big accessories that you do get would be this action stand, which is pretty cool. I kind of like the fact that they've given you this so they can actually put it in a whole bunch of different poses. Now, the way to use this is that the stand itself is pretty much this. Nothing major. This top part is going to be used mainly for the superfoot. Or the Bigfoot, that's what I'm going to call it. It's going to be used for the Bigfoot. Now, to actually plug it into this guy, what you're going to use is this connector piece. Now, I think this is for your normal Gundam kits. If you put this on top of it, which is a nice snug fit, you get these pieces over here. Now, with this piece over here, there's a hole in the back over there. You can plug it in, and it's a pretty secure connection. This guy's gonna be off the floor. You can do all kinds of poses, just like that. Now, if you want to plug it in to the Bigfoot, all you have to do is first, you actually have to change this foot out. The first thing you have to do is take out this joint, so this leg piece is gone. You have to take off this armor piece, because technically in the Superfoot the armor piece splits. They actually give you this piece, which is just another armor piece, which you just put it on the top over there. And then once that's done, then you can actually plug it in. Now, normally this is supposed to be a kick, right? So let's do it that way. Let's assume this is going to be like this. And then we have the hole in there, and we plug it in there. There. And that's with the Superfoot. Now, the Superfoot is absolutely huge, and there's no way in hell that this guy's going to be standing up just by himself. So you need to have the support of this guy. Now, again, you've got this piece up here, and if you look at the back over here, there's a little piece, a little hole. I don't know if you can see that. So this is how it's going to have to happen. So you're going to have to either move this around a little bit, for example, like that. Plug this in the back of the foot. Do it off camera. There we go. So this thing is plugged into the back of the foot, and then you just kind of have to pose it. So he's just kind of standing there. And there we go. And that's how it's going to be with Barnaby Brooks and his Bigfoot. It's okay. I mean, if you've got the whole action pose thing going and all that sort of stuff, then it's pretty good. Otherwise, it's a little bit of a waste. I prefer to keep it with his normal feet. Because this thing is just too big. You need a lot of space on your shelf to be putting it up there, which is fine. I mean, if you've got it, why not? And especially if you've got the other character from the same anime series, then it works really well. But, you know, otherwise, I like the way how this guy looks just by himself. Absolutely fantastic. So that's pretty much it, guys, for the actual review of this guy. He's got good articulation, he's got good color scheme, he's got great character, he's got great presence, absolutely really, really great. The only other thing I guess I can show you is his size. How big is this guy? Okay, so basically, here he is next to Master Grade Blitz Gundam. You can see the big difference there right away. And the only other Figuerise kit that I have in my collection at the moment is this guy, Son Goku. So you can see that, okay, Son Goku does look shorter than this guy, especially if you compare the shoulders and the head. But if you look at it just from the top, the head to the top of the hair, for example, they're the same size. So I guess that way their Figuereses are the same size. Otherwise, this guy is even towering over this guy, you know? So that's pretty much it. I think this is an absolutely fantastic kit. If you guys haven't got one version or the other of this guy, definitely go out and get him. He's not that expensive either. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Alright guys, this has been Ace. I hope you've enjoyed Barnaby Brooks and his Bigfoot. Let me know if you've had any comments, any questions, or anything like that. Definitely looking forward to your ideas on if you want me to do some kind of a special color scheme for this guy. Alright, this is Ace. I'll see you guys at the next review.